All right, you got to take me through the full drug cocktail that Hitler was on. Patient A of Morell's. Let's start at the beginning. We're big on setting context here. So tell the story of Dr. Theodor Morell. How did he meet Hitler?
Well, Morell he had his practice on Kurfürstendamm, which is like the main boulevard of Berlin, in the west of Berlin, kind of a fancy street. And he was a celebrity doctor, which was a new type of doctor in a way, Dr. Feelgood. He kind of was one of the first Dr. Feelgood. So you didn't go to him when you had a disease. You went to him when you were, let's say you were like an opera star in the Berlin Opera and you had a big premiere. So you would go to Morell in the afternoon and he would give you a nice shot and then you would, be really good on stage. But he was not a quack. I mean, he just knew his drugs and he believed in, why shouldn't you treat someone even if that person doesn't have a disease? If you can make that person feel better, it's good. Especially if that person pays. Like he said, everyone who pays and he wasn't cheap, who comes to me and wants a testosterone hormone injection or a vitamin injection or an opioid injection, you get it from him. He didn't have any scruples.
I mean, but we should also say he was pretty innovative and extremely knowledgeable. So you mentioned hormones, but also, like probiotics, like you talked about.
Right.
Just he knew his shit.
He was a bit of a nerd.
Yeah.
He was
like a legit doctor, just didn't have boundaries about what he used.
He had a very unappealing physical appearance. And I think that was a problem for him. And he was known to have very bad eating habits, like sauce was running. And so people were easily disgusted by him. He was like an outsider. He was really like a freak. But when people looked at him after he had given them an injection and they said, thank you, and I feel so great now, that's what kind of made his day, So one day a man entered his doctor's office on Kurfürstendamm named Hubertus Hoffmann. And Hubertus Hoffmann was a photographer and he had gonorrhea. And Morell, because he knew about alternative ways to treat, he actually cured him. Mm-hmm. And Hubertus Hoffmann said to Morell, I have a good friend and I think you should meet him. And I'm going to have a dinner in Munich and I think it would be really worth your time to come. And Morell came and the good friend was Hitler because Hubertus Hoffmann was the photographer of Hitler. And they were, in German we have a formal U, which is Sie. Like if I don't know you so well, I say Sie. Mm-hmm. And if you're my close friend, I say du, you. Mm-hmm. And Hitler only had like 4 people he would say you to. He was always like the Sie, like the distance. It was always about distance and respect and borders and boundaries.
What are the two again? Sie and what?
Du.
Sie and du.
Yeah, Sie is the formal one and du is the informal one.
Yeah, in Russian there's the same thing, вы and ty. And so that's a big thing.
Also in French you also have that. You have that in Spanish. No, only in English you don't have it.
And it is part of the cultural sort of discourse of like when you upgrade from the V to the T, from the C to the do, or from the do to the C.
From the C to the do, that would be the upgrade because you become more intimate.
Yeah, like, and you ask, can I go from C to do?
Yeah, like the older person must suggest it, I think.
Yeah, okay. Beautiful language.
So Hoffmann was a Freund, a Dudesfreund, we say, of Hitler. So he was quite close to Hitler. And so that's why he could also make that close connection. So he had a dinner with just him, Hitler, Eva Braun, Hitler's girlfriend, and Morell came. Like they sent a plane to Berlin to pick him up. So it was like VIP treatment. It was the whole thing.
And this is
36. Yeah, they had spaghetti with tomato sauce on the side. I read in there's like a description of this event. The tomato sauce was on the side, and there was muscat. What is muscat? It's a spice.
Mm-hmm.
Nutmeg.
Nutmeg.
Yeah, it was with nutmeg, which is an unusual recipe, I guess, but that's what they had. And spaghetti wasn't a fancy thing, it came from Italy, from Mussolini, who invented fascism in Italy and who was like Hitler's role model for a long time until Hitler surpassed him, obviously. So the spaghetti, they came from Italy and it was like a big thing. And Morell had the big problem that spaghetti is hard to eat, right? And he couldn't even it was a catastrophe. But he got out of it because Hitler complained about stomach problems, because Hitler was a terrible vegetarian. He was a so-called cake vegetarian. He would only eat sweets, like cake, no meat, of course, but he wouldn't eat healthy stuff, so he was bloated the whole time, because we only eat cake and white bread, and it's not good. So he voiced that, and there was also Brandt was there, an official doctor from the SS that was his doctor, and Hitler said, my doctors can't cure me, and Morell was like, this is my chance. Thank you, God. And he told Hitler about the probiotics, which Hitler had never heard of, and also Brandt, the doctor, he hadn't heard of, because that was a new thing that you give. And Hitler was asking, what is that? And Morell said, these are live bacteria from German soldiers from the war in the First World War that were fighting in Serbia. There was one guy who didn't get the stomach flu when all the others drank the water in Serbia and all got sick, but this one guy, so his bacteria, and this is a true story, his gut bacteria were cultivated into a medicine called Mutaflor. And Morell told Hitler about this, and he said, this is amazing, I have to try this, And it helped, He got the Mutaflor, he did the Mutaflor kind of therapy, and it cured him. He suddenly had no bloating anymore, and the farting of Hitler was really bad, so bad that it would it diminished his ability to work, So suddenly he could work. He felt better. He didn't have the pain. He felt great. So he really thought that Morell is a wonder doctor. And he asked Morell pretty quickly afterwards, do you want to be my personal physician? And Morell was his wife was very much against it, because she said, if you become the personal physician of Hitler, you won't have any time for me anymore. And he said, come on, man. This is the chance you only get once in your life.
Yeah, I mean, at this point, Hitler's a really big deal.
He's the most powerful man in Europe. Mm-hmm. And there have not been war crimes, because the war hasn't started yet. Mm-hmm. Obviously, there's concentration camps and a lot of crimes have been committed, but it's also kind of hushed up. It's not such a huge thing as now we know it became. So Morell never really has any conscientious problems. He just thinks it's great, I'm going to be the doctor, I'm going to be part of history. So he becomes the personal physician, and being this vitamin guy, vitamins were really his thing. He believed in the power of vitamins. And today I think we know that he was right. Vitamins are good. But back then no one knew. And Hitler was okay, he told Hitler, and then Hitler said, okay, I want to try this vitamins. And what they did from the beginning was injections, because Hitler didn't want to take a pill, because a pill takes too long and it goes through the tract that he has the problems with, the digestion. He didn't want to take a pill. He believed in the injection. And Morell was the masterful injector. So Morell, because the needles were thicker than they are today, but Morell could give you an injection without you feeling any pain. So Hitler was quite impressed. So he got a vitamin C injection, but Hitler loved the daily injection. So he got hooked on the daily injection. Once he got the injection, the day was good. And he never got sick, actually. And he could stand for a long time with the arm raised. He did he went to the gym, basically. I mean, he had a gym where he was doing exercise, so he could have the arm up for hours when a military parade would walk by. So he was quite fit, and he was never sick, and Morell was giving him the daily injection, and they lived happily ever after, basically, until the Soviet Union attacked.